Some people, yeah, that I thought were super fine, zeros now. Zeros. Sorry, zeros. Hello and welcome back. This is Michelle. Again, thanks for tuning into my channel. And today I'm going to be talking a bit more about my journey. It's now been 2 weeks since, 2 full weeks that since I've gotten my IUD, Mirena IUD removed. And I've had so many things changing. But today I'm going to really be focusing on something that was one of the main pivotal points for me to even choose to get it taken out, which was attraction, being attracted to people and me being attractive to people. And so, first, let me start off with why that was such a big pivotal point for me when I was searching on information as to why I'm going to take it out. So, when I first started on this journey, I was looking at a video where another girl was talking about how her attraction to her now husband was not there for the first 7 years. So they were actually just platonic friends. Then she got off of birth control and she was attracted to him, and then they got married. And then from there, I was like, what? So I went down the rabbit hole of what happens when you get on birth control. One of the defining reasons that I decided to remove it in this stage of my life was that I'm currently in the stage of dating for more serious relationships, for a long-term partnership. And because of that, I wanted to make sure I'm not making the wrong decision. My biggest fear instantly became, what if I choose the wrong person because I'm on birth control now? Then when I go to have a baby and I get off birth control, I don't like my spouse. This is a thing. This is absolutely a thing. And I can also validate and verify that this happens as far as how your attraction is going. So let's talk about things I noticed immediately and within like the past 2 weeks. And it takes about 3 months for the hormones to fully reset. But right now, I haven't had any terribly negative effects. But what I can say when it comes to attraction, it's been a very interesting journey. So from the very first day, like the very first day I got it taken out, I could immediately notice a difference in how men were attracted to me, even some women, and not in like a sexual way when it came to the women, but like definitely coming towards me, definitely energy a lot more coming towards me in all aspects. Of course, I do take into account that I probably also had a different energy, but I can note that they definitely did come at me in a different way, and not in a like hypersexual rabbit kind of way, but in a definite like, wow, who is this woman kind of way, which was so interesting because I didn't think it would work that fast, but it was pretty immediate. I did take into account the different factors. So I did take into account that my energy was probably different. I also questioned whether it could have been that some of the things were already there and I didn't bother to notice. First, I'll go through like me looking at men or how I was attracted to them. So I've been attracted to men. I'm a heterosexual female. I definitely love men. And while I was on birth control, there were definitely times where like my libido was way lower, and I didn't ever correlate my libido with my birth control. I just assumed like, oh, I'm just going through a phase. Oh, I just don't care right now. And that's definitely wrong. I can definitely go ahead and verify that. And also like the men I would be attracted to or like men I would tolerate, I couldn't really like get why sometimes I would even go on dates with certain people because I was like, I'm not that into them, but I guess I'll go on it. And then men who I was like, this makes sense, I didn't even put that much effort into. And so my drive to even make dating happen was like very low. I had the ability, like I had men who were available to me, I had men who were attracted to me. I was still attracted to men, but my like drive to make things happen was very low. That was also over time. So if I look, I got the IUD in about 20, let's say, I think 2018, around then. I had it at least for 5 to 6 years. And in the beginning, like I was even dating someone when I first got on it. And I can definitely say what it says that you will be into the more like safe, secure kind of guys. And I was definitely dating like a doctor who I never put this together, but he definitely was like a safe and secure type. Like I wouldn't normally look at him and be like, oh my God, I want to get with him. Like he was a nice guy, he was decent looking, but like if I looked at him now, I probably wouldn't really be that crazy about him. Funny enough, I met him off of birth control, and when I first met him, I was not that into him. We got together later on. I was like, I thought he was okay, attractive, but I wasn't like that into him when I first met him. I was also just like in my own world doing my own thing, traveling around. And then when I got on birth control and I moved, then we started to get serious later. So you can't really say for sure that it was the birth control that heightened my attraction. Most likely it was just the investment of time and like shared interest and all those things. But it is something that I find interesting that later on, maybe I was more into him because of the safety and security thing. I can look at other guys where, yeah, like I said, there were people who were very clearly attractive, like it was a match that I just was not as driven to pursue or driven to like really deal with. And I find that very interesting. Now, compare all of that previous. Also, want to talk a bit about my femininity. So another reason I was even on that video where the girl was talking about this was because I was feeling less feminine. Not that I was feeling masculine, but I was feeling less feminine. I felt like I needed to revamp my feminine energy. I needed to go and dress up more. I needed to take better care of myself. And the reality is I've always taken care of myself from my point of view, take care of my body, take care of the way I look. I don't look like a bum when I go out, but I can notice that like over time I was like becoming less thoughtful in my appearance, and just not feeling as feminine. I definitely was more in the masculine energy of going to do. Now, after I removed the birth control, I'm definitely absolutely so naturally in my feminine state, basically all the time. I will do an entire video on how this is affecting my business and my mindset with my business. But as far as like the attraction goes, I can see a full transition. First of all, when the woman is in her feminine energy, the masculine loves to come in, and it is so true. It's so quick. It happens so fast. Now that I've shifted back to my feminine energy, like really naturally being in it, not needing to, I wasn't forcing it before, but I had to try a bit harder. Now that I rest in my feminine energy, the men do their masculine thing. They are doing. They are doing. When you let them do, they do. They do the do. And I find that to be so lovely now. Like, oh, it's so much more lovely. But it also just like reminds me of like how I used to be. Like one of the main things is that you kind of over time forget how you used to be. I didn't remember feeling like this until I felt it again. And I remember when I was much younger, I felt like this. And so because of that, I am loving being in my feminine energy. I am loving being much more relaxed, much more playful, much more like in tune with my body, much more in tune with like my emotions. All of that has been heightened. One really amazing thing that I also think naturally men have found more attractive in me, just in general, even when I was on birth control, is my energy. I'm a very high positive energy person. And I can say I am like bursting. Like at some points I feel like I almost have to like control myself because I'm bursting with energy. Like all my feelings, they say that like birth control kind of suppresses your feelings. All of my feelings I am feeling like at an extreme level. Like the way I'm feeling them is so, I don't know how to say. I can feel my feelings so much stronger. My feelings of happiness will like almost like explode at certain moments. Like for example, this past weekend I was at a festival, and actually the festival was a great way to be able to gauge the dealings with attraction in men, because there were plenty of men at the festival, many attractive men. And I would just like have these bursts of like ridiculous happiness. And I could see that in those moments when I was like playful and all these things, there would be a lot more men coming towards me in the same way. And none of this was done for them, but these are natural things that when you're in your feminine energy, these things are going to happen. Speaking on the festival and being in this situation where I have many men around me, I have men that I've been interested in before. I have men that I have never been interested in. I have men that I have found attractive before, men that I no longer find attractive at all, at all. That was wow. Okay, so many things here. So one of the first things to talk about would be the men that I have always been attracted to. As expected, I was more attracted to them. Like the ones who I was really attracted to before, I was definitely more attracted to them. And I could so clearly notice their attraction to me was also higher. Me being in my feminine energy probably also influenced the fact that they were more attracted to me, but it was definitely very, very clear. It's kind of funny because it's like they just know. Like they know something happened. I don't know if they noticed the difference, but I certainly noticed the difference from my end at how they were coming at me, how they were treating me. And none of this was like rude or disrespectful. It was definitely like Michelle. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was really nice. And it was so interesting to just see, like, wow, my physical chemistry within my body and my energy and my pheromones and all these things, how that is affecting my attractiveness to others. And it's such a big deal because you're basically like turning down your attractiveness when you are on birth control. The birth control is working because it's really controlling your birth by making sure people aren't as attracted to you. So the guys who I was already attracted to, definitely even more attracted to. There were definitely some guys who I was attracted to before that I was not attracted to. And this happened multiple times within like this has happened multiple times since I got the IUD removed. I did notice that there were some guys who before you could not tell me that they weren't fine. I was like, no, that guy looks good. No attraction at all. None. I look at them now, not that they're ugly. I look at them now and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Same face, same everything. I'm seeing it. No attraction. None. Zero attraction. And it is like a whoa. So imagine if that was your husband. And that's why I got this taken up. But most of them didn't turn ugly. I can say that like, okay, maybe I can't say that. But most of them weren't that unattractive. Most of them just like kind of became neutral. I have a few people who went from like, I felt nothing towards them to being a bit more attracted. And this is not only at the festival, but this is just talking in general. There are a few guys that maybe before I was like, I have no interest. And now I don't necessarily have interest in them, but I can find them more attractive. I do say like, oh, I can see so-and-so is an attractive person. Nothing that I'm like trying to pursue, but it has been interesting because I could easily see how that girl said, yeah, I've been friends with so-and-so or her now husband for so long. And then she got off of it and was attracted. Totally can see how that can happen. Also can completely see how some of the women who had been dating someone for a really long time basically came home and they were like, it's a nothing. And when we say it's a nothing, it's a nothing. In dealing with men, this has been also very interesting. So in the concepts of the feminine being and the masculine doing, so feminine just like being in that relaxed, playful, receiving state, and then the masculine being in the doing, proactive, assertive state. I notice how my decision making on how to deal with certain men and how to analyze the situations that I'm existing in has also changed. So I feel no need to chase. None. Women shouldn't feel this need to chase, but I feel no need to chase. And not that I ever felt the need to chase, but sometimes I think before, maybe I was just doing because it was natural for me to just do. So it would be like, oh, I'm going to go do this thing, or I'm going to go talk to this person, or I'm going to go blah, 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 whatever. I'm going to blank. But now it's much more like fluid and a flow of like, oh, this is what I feel like doing now. And this is what I feel like doing now. And although this sounds kind of all over the place, it makes sense in the way of dealing with men mostly, in the way that like I'm allowing them to do towards me. So like if they want to come approach me, if they want to come talk to me, if they want to blah, blah, I'm really enjoying just like allowing them that space to take the initiative. And it's very important. And I'm also noticing how many men are definitely in their feminine and that this allows them to be in their masculine. So I can completely see how the men end up in this space of where they are in the receiving mode very quickly, because I also am observing women being more assertive of like, oh, I really like this guy. And the reality is when you do like someone, you want to be around them. So I'm not saying I'm not ever going up to the guys I want to be around or anything, but I never really feel like I'm in that forward motion in the same way as maybe I was before. Not in an analytical state, much more in my feelings state. Sometimes it's a bit hard to express my feelings in the same way. I'm much more into my intuition and much more clear with my intuition than before. And my confidence is just like, if you thought I was confident before, like you won't be able to stand me now. But my confidence is also coming from this like feeling in my mind, my soul, my body, my everything, that like everything is working out exactly the way it's supposed to. So if something's not working out with one person, I have no problems with that. I have no problems with something not working out in the way that I want, because I still believe that everything will work out in the way that I want in the end. And that calmness and that confidence, one, I think is an attractive feature for anybody. but it also brings me peace and peaceful energy to those I'm interacting with, because I'm not feeling the need to like convince them of anything. If they don't want to talk to me, that's cool. If they don't want to be around me, that's cool. Like, I'm going to be around me regardless. If I want to be around them and they don't want to be around me, also cool, because there's another person. Like, you don't have to, if I've been put into this place, and I really hope it continues like this, of just like feeling the need to not control anything because everything is working out for me. And woo, what a great place to be in life. Like, I don't even know how to describe that any better than just like peace that everything is going to work out for me. Of course, there are things that could bother me, things that make me think like, why did they do that? Why that? But there's like 20, there's a, the world is abundant. The world is abundant in men. The world is abundant in attraction. The world is abundant in attractive people. And you can also just see so clearly how like people really need to work on themselves, which is why I have this channel, so that they can see these things clearly. Because when you can see it clearly, you bring a different energy to basically all the interactions you're going to have when you are feeling good about yourself, when you are reassured of who you are and what you're bringing to the table. It is so much easier for you to approach situations from a place of calmness, from a place of receiving, from a place of giving, and not giving in the doing state, but like giving in like, I'm bringing my energy, I'm giving you my energy, I'm giving you my time, I'm giving you my love, I'm giving you whatever. You're going to be giving also from kindness. You're going to be giving from a place of like, I don't need to get anything. I'm not doing this to get from you. Do I have respect for myself and expect reciprocity to deal with me in longer term situations? Absolutely. But I'm not doing things because I'm expecting things immediately. And so I do want to touch a little bit more on this feminine energy concept, because this is what one of the main changes was for me. Well, now I really feel like the desire to dress up, take care of myself. I can notice my softness. I can notice that like I'm much more relaxed. If I'm talking really loud with my friends, I realize like, actually, I could talk way slower and I could talk way lower right now, but I feel so intense. So even when I'm feeling very excited, I realize that a lot of that is more from habit in the way that I'm projecting. You can even notice maybe throughout the video where sometimes I'm like, and it'll be more closely to relate it to how I used to talk versus like my current way of wanting to speak is like where I'm speaking right now, but maybe even a bit lower. Another thing related to attraction that I also found really interesting in dealing with men has been beyond the part of confidence. There's also the point of clarity in the way I wish to be treated, and things that maybe I would have tolerated while I was still on birth control. Like now I'm like, no, that's a no for me. Things like not being assertive, not being present when you're talking to me, not doing certain things that maybe people could have gotten away with before. Like now I'm back to old Michelle where it's like, okay, next. It makes me wonder, one, why was I doing that before? And it's, how does that correlate? How does that correlate? What is making me change my actions that match my worth? What is the correlation there? Because there are definitely things that I tolerated in the past years that I'm like, they weren't horrible, but current me would never. And when I look at it, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. But I think a lot of that is also that reassurance. So by me being so self-assured right now, this is also not saying I'm the best person ever, but I don't have to apologize for liking myself. I think that by me being so self-assured and confident in who I am, loving who I am, really loving who I am, being so happy these days, really just embodying like all the greatness of myself that I'm loving and working on myself still. Like I'm forever on a self-development journey. But by feeling so self-assured in that space, I feel like that is allowing me to see when people aren't meeting me where I would like to be met. It's a lot easier to be like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. And I can also see, as I said before, how men have been shifting in this space as well. Like now I can see so clearly how I was doing before and it didn't give them space to come in. But now that I'm giving them space, you remember you have to allow, you choose what you allow into your space. They're going to choose whether they're going to come in. But when you allow that space, they are like, hey, what's up? So I'm thriving in that space right now and loving it because, yeah, I'm in this stage of like trying to be more conscious as I'm vetting people for like more of a serious partnership. I'm dating for partnership now, not just dating for the sake of dating. And this was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I am so happy I made it. I do not regret getting off of the IUD at all. And I also don't regret having it because, well, one, what's the point in regretting it? But I don't have a baby right now. So that's great for me. It worked. It did its job. But I'm so happy that I chose to get it out when I did. Maybe I could have chose sooner. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. That's in the past. This was a great decision, and it's really going to be a very interesting journey. Another thing that I noticed was how much I notice men coming towards me. So this was something that's hard to judge because maybe some things were already happening and I just wasn't noticing them because my desire, need, whatever to notice them was not there. But now I can notice more men coming towards me or wanting to be near me. And this was actually something I used to notice back in high school, that like they would be just closer to me, but they maybe wouldn't talk to me or whatever. Maybe they're nervous. I don't know. And then now I'm kind of wondering, has this still always been going on, but when I was on birth control, I didn't notice it? Or is it that when I was on birth control, because I was also in such like a more like outgoing state when it came to certain things, maybe I was just going up and talking to them. Like if they're near me, then I'm probably going to talk to them. And in general, I still do, but I do it a lot less now. And I did notice that. So I'm wondering if that has also affected my point of view, where it's like now I can notice them coming towards me, but I probably just don't say anything. Or maybe I say something, but like I'm not like the Michelle that's like, hey, what's your name? Na, 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 blah, 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 blah. And I am still a bit that Michelle, but less. Like it's probably just like turned down a little bit less. It makes me wonder, are they coming towards me because of all these changes in the same way that these men I am attracted to are coming towards me? Or is it that they've been doing that and all of this has been happening and I just haven't noticed it? I would really love to see, and maybe I'll survey some of these men, if they notice a difference. That could be interesting. But for now, no one knows because I am trying to keep the observations pure and clear. And then I will release, all of these videos will come out probably about a month or two after. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any more questions about how my attraction has changed and how people are attracted to me has changed, let me know down in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful week and talk to you soon.